Hello and welcome. In this video, I'm going to be talking about two bags. The Vela bag from Italian brand Etro and Lutece from French brand Michino. I'm Anesu Sagonda and I produce educational luxury content for anyone after the finer things, whether you're new to money and wanting to learn how to navigate the terrain, or you're into luxury but you want to focus more on high quality, under the radar brands, or you're young and starting out in life and wanting to reap the benefits of buying better quality from the get-go, then my content is geared towards you. I was recently in Atlanta in the United States, and I went to Buckhead Village District to take a look at the luxury stores in Atlanta, because I was told that's where a lot of the top-end brands. I was hoping to also pick up on American brands, but I was a little underwhelmed because there were quite a few vacant stores, and I found out that quite a few brands had moved or were in the process of moving to Phipps Plaza. And we happened to be staying in a hotel that was directly opposite Phipps Plaza. So backtracked to the hotel and went in to take a look at Phipps Plaza. Walked in, and to my right was Citizens Market, the entrance to Citizens Market. And then I walked past that and I was focused on going to Saks and also Lafayette 148. And from the corner of my eye, I picked up on Etro. And Etro is a brand I don't really pay a lot of attention to because they don't really have a lot of handbags. It's not something that they really do. The focus is really on their fabrics, their homeware, their clothes, the paisley design, for example. But a fairly sizable handbag display in the window, and then directly behind the display were two walls of handbags just displayed on the walls. I thought, wow, that's interesting. What's that about? But I did remember that during the lockdown, I did read about Al Catterton, an LVMH-backed private equity fund, buying a majority stake in Etro. And I thought, this must be one of the results. This is the after effects of the majority stake. And so I decided to come back the next day when I had a bit more time. And I was pleasantly surprised. Etro was founded in 1968 by Girolamo Etro. And it was run as a family business up until 2021, when they sold a majority stake of the business to Al Catterton, a private equity fund that's backed by Louis Vuitton Moet Hennessy. At which point, Girolamo had run the business with his 4 children. 3 of the children were creative directors for each department. So one was in charge of women's wear, the other men's wear, the third child homeware. And then the 4th child was the general director of the business. So when they saw the majority stake, Al Catterton took control of the business. The children stepped aside. But from my understanding, Girolamo Etro is still the chairman of Etro. Al Catterton introduced their own management, which is what happens when you purchase a majority stake in the business. You take control and you run things, and you have your own people in key positions. So the first appointment, the CEO, Fabrizio Cardinali, a seasoned professional with fairly extensive industry experience from Dolce & Gabbana, from Dunhill. And then 2022, they introduced a new creative director in charge of all 3 departments, Marco De Vincenzo, and he came from Fendi. Prior to his appointment in 2021, he had his own eponymously named brand, which he closed down. And then in 2022, it was announced he was taking over as the creative director of Etro, but he was also still the head of leather goods at Fendi. So 2 fairly weighty roles. So I'd imagine he must have been given a really good offer to close down his own brand and then take on the creative direction of 2 brands, Etro, and then still head of leather goods at Fendi. And so when I walked past, the first time I walked past the Etro store in Phipps Plaza, and I noticed the Vela bag, and I thought, oh, it looks like it's been inspired by the drapey open silhouette of the Fendi peekaboo. When I found out that Etro's new creative director is Marco De Vincenzo from Fendi, it all made sense. And I thought to myself, this is really interesting. It's slightly different. The top part of the bag is a little different to the peekaboo. But I'm sure in time to come, I've seen another bag, the Saturno, which I also like, a bucket bag. But I think we may see 1 or 2 other styles that have been inspired by possibly other styles that are doing well at Fendi. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. There's a slight variation to the bag, and then you see it at Etro. But I also think Marco will come in, of course, with designs that are new, that are unique specifically for Etro. So I'm really excited to see what's going to happen. And what's also worth noting is that after I looked at the bags, I had a look at the clothes. Etro to me has always been a brand that's fairly mature in terms of the target audience, the look and feel of the brand. But what I noticed when I had a quick look around is that it's changed. And Marco is somebody who's coming in from Fendi. He's only ever worked at Fendi. He's been at Fendi for 21 years. So he's somebody who really understands heritage brands, how to manage a heritage brand, how to look after a heritage brand. But he's also able to come in and tell Etro's story, but with a slightly different viewpoint, but still being incredibly respectful of the heritage of the brand and maintaining the essence of what makes Etro a success. You can see the designs, the look, the feel has changed. The brand is now focused towards a younger audience that's bigger, bigger profits, bigger sales. And the audience will grow with the brand as they age. Before, it was just an older audience, and that limits in terms of just potential, buying potential. Your audience is smaller. And they've also introduced handbags, styles that really work for a younger audience. So I'm excited to see what lies ahead for Etro. If the bags are anything to go by, the Vela that I also saw the Saturno, a bucket bag that I really liked. I'm excited, and I can't wait to see how things develop for Etro, and they're going to develop, I'm sure, fairly positively. Etro is very comfortably within premium core level of luxury. Premium core is where you're getting high quality, you're getting phenomenal craftsmanship, you're getting prestige, heritage, exclusivity when it comes to the availability of the products, the quantities produced. And their bags are priced between 1,500 and 3,000 pounds. Looking specifically at the Vela comes in 3 size options, similar to the Peekaboo that also comes in 3 size options. The Etro Vela, the small size, you're looking at a price of about 1,500 pounds, depending of course on the material used. I'm referring specifically to calf skin. The medium size is 1,700 pounds, and then the large size of the bag is 2,200 pounds, and this is 100% calf skin. On the outside also they have calf skin lining on the inside as well. I did see a shearling bag, a really nice shearling bag, so I'm sure we're going to see other materials, other style variations and additions of the Vela using different materials, different products, for example. When you look at the Fendi Peekaboo, it's literally double the price of the Vela bag. The small size of the Peekaboo, you're looking at a price of 3,200 pounds, depending of course on the material used. The medium size, 4,000 pounds. And then the large size of the Peekaboo, you're looking at a price of about 4,500 pounds. Double the price of the Vela bag, but the Vela bag is beautifully made. For the price point, you're getting an absolutely fantastic product. If your budget doesn't extend to 3,000-4,000 pounds that the Peekaboo is retailed for, then the Vela bag is an incredibly suitable alternative when you consider the quality of the leathers they've used. Absolutely superb. The craftsmanship, the details, the finish, I was really impressed. And I thought, I like the fact that they've introduced a new selection of bags, and they've literally come in guns blazing with a fantastic collection. Beautifully made bags, all made in Italy. The top of the bag is slightly different to the Peekaboo in that there is a metal structure. If you pull out the metal structure, then you have a diamond-shaped opening to the bag. Drop one side of the structure, and then you have the V shape, the drapey V shape to the bag. And then there's a little gold clasp with a couple of balls on it. Inside of the bag is 100% calfskin suede lined. And then the outside of the bag, beautiful, sumptuous calfskin. The edge coating, beautifully done. I remember looking at it, gliding my eyes over every bit of edge coating and thinking, wow, they've done a really good job. They've really focused on executing a very high product in terms of the finish. All of the bags come with an additional strap. The small size of the bag comes with a strap that's adjustable, but it doesn't come with a pouch that's permanently attached to the bag. But the two bigger sizes, the medium and the large, they come with an additional strap, but the strap is not adjustable. But they each have a pouch that's permanently attached that comes with the bag. So you do have that option, slight difference between the small and the medium, but they're all beautifully finished. They've paid a lot of attention to the details. Underside of the bags, you have the legs to elevate the profile of the bag and also to protect it from scuffing. So that's the Vela bag, and I remember seeing it and just thinking, wow, this is really nice. It looks good. For the price point, you're getting a fantastic quality product. The second bag is the Lutece from Michino, and Lutece means Paris in Latin. Michino is an eponymously named brand after its owner, Anesu Michino. Anesu is Japanese. He was born in Tokyo, educated in New York, and trained in Paris. And then he went on to work for some of the biggest aspirational brands. Think of Givenchy, Saint Laurent, and Delvaux. And then in 2014, he started his own eponymous brand, Michino, and it's based in Paris. Just before lockdown, I'd say possibly a year before lockdown, I started to notice a growing trend of artisans who would work for some of the biggest brands, Louis Vuitton, Bottega Veneta, Dior, Hermes, for example. Hermes was actually the biggest one. And they would have artisans who would learn from them. They would work at Hermes, for example, for a number of years, get really good world-class training. And then when they're at a stage where they're comfortable, they're confident with their training, with their ability, they would then leave Hermes and start their own brand. And then what they would do is, whilst at Hermes, they would network and make inroads with some of the suppliers. And the suppliers, as I'm sure you can imagine, are the best in the world, especially when it comes to Hermes. And they'd make their own connections. And then once they left Hermes, they would then either start their own brand, or they would work for another brand, possibly a smaller brand, but a brand that's really focused on producing higher quality bags than the aspirational brands. What you will find with aspirational brands, think of Louis Vuitton, Gucci, for example, is that they are producing fairly sizable quantities of bags a month, a year. And in order for them to be able to do this, they have fairly rigid systems and processes in place, which means they are not able to produce bags with the same high level of detail or high quality of finish as smaller, artisanal, custom-focused brands, because they're producing high quantities. It's almost as if they have a template and they need to stick to it in order to be able to produce high quantities consistently. And so what you will find is the artisans, as I mentioned, they will learn from Hermes, for example, and then go off and start their own brand like Anesu, or they will work with another brand like Ramesh Nair. He went from Hermes to Moina, and then now he's at Joseph Duclos. Or a brand I was asked about, same time as Michino, L'Etrange. Their creative director, Matthias Jacquemet, he has worked with Bottega Veneta, Christian Dior, Louis Vuitton, and now he's working with L'Etrange alongside Bottega Veneta and also Louis Vuitton. And so what's really important is when the artisan is training at Hermes, for example, they will make the connections that when they do move on, they have the network, because the network will either make or break your business. Some of the best tanneries in the world, the French have the best tanneries in the world, and they are typically owned by the good and the great, whether it's Hermes or Chanel, for example. And what Chanel and Hermes will do, which is what you would expect, is they take first dibs. They take the very best leathers in the market. They keep them for themselves. And then whatever's left over after their needs have been met is then sold. And for you to get access to that second layer after Hermes or Chanel have taken their bits, you need a very good contact with the supplier. And so the artisans will have the good connections, and then they will move on and start their own brand or work with another brand. And then that is literally the recipe for an incredibly outstanding product. You have access to some of the best inputs, the leathers, the hardware, the thread, and so forth. And then you are able to produce a bag with an incredibly high level of detail, very high standard of finish that you can't achieve at the aspirational brand, that is absolutely amazing. That is a dream win-win situation. And so I'm seeing increasingly more artisans doing that, where they're learning from the good and the great, especially Hermes. Hermes is very good at training, and quite a few Hermes artisans are sloshing about in the market. I've met some of them, I'm meeting more in the future, and they're producing absolutely outstanding, swoon-worthy bags. And if you're someone who's not beholden to hype, that you have to buy something that is from a known brand, but you want to focus on high quality, incredibly well made, no hype, but just an absolutely outstanding product, there's some fantastic brands out there. Michino is a brand that's very confidently within accessible core level of luxury. That's the third level of luxury. And it's a brand that's actually one of the top, I'd place at the top when it comes to accessible core. Because with Michino, Yasu has combined his experience, his skill, the product he's producing with the leathers he's using. The bulk of his bags are made using Torillon leather, and he sources it specifically from Rémy Cariat. Rémy Cariat is the top tannery when it comes to Torillon. It's bullskin leather. It is soft, it's sumptuous, it's thick, it's plush, it's beautiful. It is what is used by Hermes for their Birkins. And so he is producing bags. The majority of them are made using the Rémy Cariat. So you're getting outstanding quality leather at accessible core prices. Accessible core, third level of luxury, as I mentioned, bags are priced between 1,000 and 1,500 pounds. First three levels of luxury, it's a play between price and quality. With the first level of luxury every day, it's about price before quality is really considered. Someone who's buying an everyday level of luxury bag, they're really concerned with the price before the quality. Next level up, affordable level of luxury, bags that are 300 through to about 900, 1,000 pounds. Quality starts creeping in. It becomes a consideration alongside the price. And then by the time you get to the third level, it's quality first before price is a consideration. And with Michino, as I've mentioned, the quality is outstanding. You're getting some of the best leather in the industry at an absolute steal. He has a number of styles that I'll talk about in other videos, depending on the style I'll be talking about. But the Lutece is a bag that I would say, when I looked at it, I was like, this has similarities, inspiration from the Peekaboo. It's a top handle bag that also comes in 3 sizes. There is the Nano, the Mini, and the PM. The Nano is 1,100 pounds, the Mini 1,200 pounds, and the PM is 1,300 pounds. The bag comes with an additional adjustable strap, and it's a strap that is interchangeable with the other styles within the brand. It has the 4 legs on the underside just to raise the profile and also to prevent the bag from scuffing. And then the inside of the bag is lined using cotton drill. And then on the one side of the bag, you have a zipped leather pocket that's attached permanently, sewn on to the bag. An absolutely beautiful bag that is a quarter of the price of the Fendi Peekaboo, but it very confidently holds its own when it comes to the quality of the leather. It's the best in the industry. And also the level of craft, the details, the finish of the bag is beautiful. And for this level of luxury, you are getting an absolutely outstanding product. If your budget doesn't stretch to Etro, let alone Fendi, then this is an absolutely amazing alternative. In its own right, it's a beautiful bag. Regardless of the comparison, the similarity, it's an effortlessly elegant bag. Let me know what you think of the Lutece, of the Vela bags. Do you like any of these? Have you seen any of these? These are new bags in the market. In London, I've just started seeing it in Pickett's. I also saw a small mini Michino in New York recently in Peter Herman. But it's the Michino bag, the Vela bag, 2 beautiful bags. Whichever one you like, you'll be in very good company when it comes to the high quality of the leathers and the craftsmanship that's gone into both bags.